On the day of the earthquake, I was actually at the UN headquarters located in Boudon. I was in a meeting with a UN section to see how we could together organize workshops on special education throughout the country. And I probably left the meeting maybe 30 minutes or an hour before the earthquake. And then while driving back on the way to home, the earth started obviously trembling. And I personally I thought it was a flat tire, but when I saw the electrical poles shaking and walls shaking, this is when I realized that it was an earthquake. And at that moment, I obviously called home to find out if my daughter was okay, if my parents were fine, family members were doing great. And then right after that, I called several friends and collaborators that live in shanty towns in Port-au-Prince to find out if they were okay. And this is when I realized how devastating the earthquake was, because reports from these neighborhoods they led me to believe that things were really, really messy, that the situation was very tragic. And then in the morning, right after the earthquake, I took my pickup truck to visited several shanty towns to see how we could help, what can be done, what could be done. And while this was a very difficult moment, really, because you could see corpses, children, adults, youth lying on the streets, people under rubble that were still alive, screaming for help. And at this moment, we did several things. We took the injured and brought them to nearby hospitals, and we also started organizing a mass burial. We took all the corpse and then had volunteers dig holes in the cemetery to remove the corpse in the neighborhoods. And then we tried to help out the neighborhood however we could, finding hygiene kits or the much needed materials. But really, it also, while it was a tragic event, while it was a difficult time, it also gave me much hope, because really the Haitian people were heroes. You saw people who had just lost family members, who had just lost all their belongings, and helping out hand in hand with their neighbors, and helping out, helping remove, for instance, people under rubbles, contributing to relief efforts.